Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti, along with Brian Nato. You can just see how beautiful it is in South Florida. Blue skies, nice, cool temperatures. I know Brian is now a Floridian. He thinks this is a little cold for him. He's been here like an hour and a half in Florida. He's already going, it's freezing around this place.
I talked to our buddy Seth Merrill this morning up in Albany. It was -7, I believe, up in Albany.
Wow.
So we can't complain down here. Another beautiful day. We're on the turf today as well, so a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we got the Rainbow Six a little later on, race number 6 with $150,000 of gross guaranteed pool. So we got that. We're looking forward, and we got a couple of stakes races today for Florida bred. So lots going on this afternoon, here, this morning and this afternoon. So we're going to go right into the card, and we're going to start it today with a mile, 70 yards about distance on the Peter for maiden claiming 3-year-olds, 25 down to 20. Brian put an early pick 5 ticket together.
I did, and we start with a single, Ron. My best bet of the day is in here, Travel Guide for Jack Sisterson. So there's the single, and then it's spreading throughout after that. Restless Eyes on top in the second race. Conglomerate in the third race, a heavy favorite for Chad Brown, but I'll also use superposition for Antonio Sano, and then a little spread in race 4 with Poppy's Boy on top, and then the deep spread in race 5, the get out leg. The top pick is Benelux, my long shot play of the day, the 8. So this could be a good one, Ron. I think we're going to get value too right off the rip on Travel Guide.
Benelux, as you say?
Benelux.
My long shot today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
You're cursed now.
Here we go.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
Your long shot popped yesterday in the finale, and you've been doing tremendous work as part of that All-Star ticket as well, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Hit the Stronach 5 ticket with the help, of course, of a couple of guys out there in California. Did a great job. Well, we'll talk about that later. This race here, well, let's start with your 4-horse in here, Travel Guide, your single. And on this one is dropping to this level, getting Lasix, getting blinkers, after facing Maiden Special Weight Company on the dirt in Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Sisterson does a really, really good job. And on the synthetics and the Maiden Special Weight to Maiden Claiming drop, too. He's 5 for 15. So there's a lot of reasons to like Travel Guide. Blinkers go on today as well. Tyler Gaffalione is aboard. And, you know, Jack doesn't reach out for guys like Tyler or Luis, Saez or Irad, things like that if the horses aren't live. And I expect this one to really fire, really wake up on the class drop.
I went with the number 6 horse in here, Solar Tap, and this one is dropping to the 25 level and returning to the all-weather surface today with blinkers added. I thought it was an even performance against 50 maiden. Optional claimers going a mile into 16 on the turf for Mike Stidham, and you get Luis Saez, our leading rider in the saddle, had another multiple win day yesterday, but that's like a broken record. You hear that every single day here. So that horse you had a little further down on your ticket, but I want to show you Moon at Midnight's last race. I just want to pick it up. Was the number 5 horse this day. We're going to show turning for home to the wire. And you can see this horse is out there near the parking lot. Really had to make a move. Now, I just thought, and earlier on, he just was never in a good place to run. Now, you're going to say, well, I don't see him in the picture. But I thought he ran, a 6 wide, distant fourth, but I think a useful fourth. You're going to see him coming into the picture now, the 5. I just thought that he had it worst against him being that wide turning for home. It's Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado. You know how good they do together.
He's going to move forward today.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. It's really difficult to debut going 2 turns and run and win. And I thought he ran fine, as you alluded to. He was wide every step of the way. Lasix goes on. Bill's a patient guy, a progressive trainer, and you would think today Moon at Midnight's going to take a big step forward.
We're going to flip the page and go to race number 2. We'll be on the fast main track today. By the way, we fast and firm. Of course, the all-weather always fast. The second race is 5.5 furlongs, claiming filly, 3-year-olds, 20 down to $16,000. And my top pick in here is the number 2, Madame Claudet. We'll start with that horse. Is dropping to the 20 level, getting Lasix today after following that claiming score, going 6 in the slop with a chase and fade outing. That was against those 35 starter optional claimers, going 6.5 furlongs last time out. The key for me, Brian, is the turn back to 5.5 furlongs.
Yeah, the turn back and the drop in class, and that was a merry-go-round race last time. The top 3 went 1, 2, 3 the entire way around, so she really didn't have a fair go of it. And you look back at the run, the win, 2 back, it was a really solid effort. You know what else I like, Ron? She's got 2 wins. The majority of this field have only have 1 win. I think that's a big deal in these lower-level claiming races, and I would expect her to run a big one today. She's probably going to be part of the pace down inside, too.
Well, you did go with the number 3, Restless Eyes, who's dropping to this level on the main track. sort of bobbled at the start and really never got on track against those 35 claimers going on the Tapeta.
Yeah, so she's going to run on the main track for the first time since Mike Maker claimed her, and she's got solid form. She can kind of be placed anywhere. Luis Saez lands here, another one where last time was against the flow. The winners were close throughout. She had trouble coming from off the pace, and we actually talked about it in the office. I'm just wondering if maybe the Maker barn, he got a win the other day, is going to turn the corner here after a slow start to the meet, and I'm trying to get ahead of the curve on that and maybe start getting on those horses maybe at square prices.
The number 5, Delray Dolly, who we both had some interest in, is turning back slightly after posting her second victory when she defeated this level of competition. That was going 6. Was on that wet, fast surface that afternoon for Mark Cassey. It's Lasix, Edwin Gonzalez going for 2 in a row.
The other angle here is that the Edwin and Mark Cassey are just really sharp together, over 30% with a big ROI. She's the other 2-time winner in this field too, so I think you have to put her somewhere.
Just want to show a stat that Keisha found on the inside horse that she's going to use on her ticket, and that's Lara's Lady. This is Safi Joseph Jr.'s over the last 5 years. First time blinkers on the dirt. He's good. He's 30%, 20 for 67. In the money, 54% of the time. 264 is the return of investment. So you can just see there's so many different ways you can go in the first leg of our 2 pick 4s. That's the early pick 4 races. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? 6. Whatever it is. Hey, it's early Saturday morning.
Early, right?
It's early Saturday morning.
Still the morning.
$40,000 plus already in the pick 5 pool. So people are out and about and making some wages, and we're liking that. So third race, we're going back to Peter, and it's the About Mile in the 16th distance, maiden claiming 4-year-olds. $16,000. Interested to see how you went.
Yeah, I mean, Conglomerate's supposed to win, right? She's a maiden special weight jopper, Chad Brown, Seth Klarman, Tyler Gaffalione. She's just better. He's just better than this field. I actually used the 4 superposition as well in my early pick 5. I didn't want to single Conglomerate, and the reason, Ron, is that, you know, he shows 4 solid turf races to begin his career, and then he really stubbed his toe last time and regressed. Right. So I'm just wondering which way he's going. With that being said, he might still be good enough to beat this field today, and so I did put him on top. I'm not sold on him, though.
I also, for the reasons you mentioned, had Conglomerate on top, but I also used the horse you have in third and second. That's Mighty Touch. Stretching out slightly, rallied to finish second, was beaten. The neck is the favorite last time. Again, similar going that mile in 70 yards for Timmy Hills. Embassy El Jaramillo. Inside post this afternoon. We'll see how that horse runs today. I think the race does go through Conglomerate, as you said. So that is race number 3. And by the way, if you're a fan of Angel Arroyo, he's not on his mounts this afternoon. When we're done, Peter Eller will update you with all the scratches, changes, and of course, we'll see how those jockey changes work out. Some of them just MTOs right now.
Yeah.
You know,
TBD.
TBD, to be determined, not MTO. Fourth race.
It's early.
Yeah, it's early. Fourth race, we'll go to the Tapeta again, about a mile, 70 yards. These are starter optional claimers, 4-year-olds and up, started for $8,000 or less, or the optional tag of $16,000. Did have a scratch in the 5. Jockey on the 6 here is Corey Lannery, and on the number 8, it's Sean Bridgmahan. I went to the number 3. I'll kick it off with PH Factor. What I like about this horse, and we haven't really found out, I want to see at the end of the meet what these stats are, but this one comes in as a 7-time winner on synthetic surfaces, debuting locally after winning 2 of 3 optional claimers. That was actually going on the dirt track around 2 turns at Hawthorne. Larry Ravelli, barn is starting to pick up now. Paco Lopez handling the surface switch today.
How cool is this horse? He was 9 for 15 in 2021. That's a career for some horses. He ran 15 times. He won 9 of them. He's a win machine, 13 for 29 lifetime. You mentioned the 7 for 14. Let's take it one step further. Larry Ravelli, 38% on the synthetics. Plenty to like. Paco's going to suit this horse perfectly, too. This horse wants to go early.
Yeah, it just looks like a major player in there. But I can understand using Poppy Boy like you did, who's 2 for 3 in the money on synthetic tracks. Debuts locally for Cheryl Weinbauer. Had a win yesterday after winning 2 of 4 races in the Midwest. And as I mentioned, we got that jockey change to Corey Lannery today.
Yeah, and this horse has got some synthetic form as well up at Arlington on the poly track. And you mentioned the barn won sprinting on the dirt yesterday. We'll try to win going long on the Tapeta. Tactical speed for Corey Lannery, coming out of some good races, maybe a little bit of a class drop too. Should be a square price as well.
I went with number one, Gemetier in second, who's dropping a notch after returning from layoff, chased the pace, and finished second against 20 open claimers, going this distance on the all-weather track. For Jenna Antonucci, Louis Sayers will be in the saddle. Lots to like about this number one horse. I think gets an A on the progressive handicapping chart from Jim Mazur for the sire, running well on there. So lots of different things to like about the number one, Gemetier.
Yeah, Distorted Humor is one of the higher rated ones on the Mazur list there. And Tactical Speed here, probably sitting right off PH Factor to sit a good trip.
Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon. And if I can turn my page, I got it done. Hey, we're back on the turf. 1 mile, claimers, 4 and up. 35 down to 25. I think you got your long shot in here. Take it away. I want to see your reasoning.
Oh, wow, that's right. We both have Benelux here on top. This horse was entered on the turf earlier in the meet, scratched out. Chris Davis said didn't want to run on the Tapeta. This horse has got form in here, Ron, and I want to draw a line through the Claiming Crown race last out from a bad post. I would hope Javier puts this horse in the race early today. There's not a ton of speed. You look at the races 2, 3, and 4 back. They fit like a glove with a group like this. They were against better, maybe much better for that matter. And I just think on the drop, this horse is a player. 12, I'm not sure if we're going to get 12. We lost 22 points as well with Embolden coming out. So give me 6, 7, and I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, you look at this horse's record, as you alluded to, for Chris Davis. 4-time turf winner when facing this caliber of competition. I was going to show the race last time out, going into the really got bopped around going into the term, the Claiming Crown. Didn't do much running after that,
right.
But I think the drop, I think that you put a line through that race, going on, trying to get a price here like Brian is. So all the reasons that you mentioned, we'll see how this horse runs this afternoon. So that is the number 8, both of our long shots in the I used the 6 and second, Freedom Matters. 4-time local turf winner, which is always a key for me. Going back to the grass, showed some early interest and faded against those $62,000 optional claimers. That was going a mile and 70 on the Tapeta. This one likes to run on this grass course.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it. Getting back to the turf is the big deal here, and a huge class drop as well. It's Safi. We showed a stat with him earlier. Edwin Gonzalez over the summer was the best Tapeta rider I think we had here. So he's got a good handle for both surfaces, and now he's back on the turf here. So I think there's plenty to like here, and this horse will be bet as well.
Well, tell me about the 9 horse in here that I did not use. I was just looking back with my glasses on Castagno from Steve Clisaris.
Well, he won last time on the Tapeta. We know how good Steve is on the Tapeta, but he's 2 for 3 over the local lawn here at Gulfstream Park. So, don't just think this is a Tapeta horse. He's got big form here locally, and Steve does such a good job, and the horses he's been running down here are very, very live in the exacta 5 of 12 times. So going to have to work out a trip from out there. It's not an ideal post. There's no doubt about that, but I think at a square price, he should be in the mix for a piece at least.
One other horse I want to touch on before we take a break and come back with the Rainbow Six is the 5 Uncle Curly. Everybody seems to have an Uncle Curly or thereabouts. This one was solid on the turf in New Jersey during the fall. Is returning to the lawn for Peter Walder. He got parked wide. He never found the closing gear when finishing 9th and last. That was on the dirt in the Claiming Crown Iron Horse. Junior Alvarado in the saddle. I just keep going back to this horse. I don't know what he is on the morning line. What is he, 8-1? Just a horse that I think could be on the Trier Super.
Yeah, let's just draw a line through the Claiming Crown dirt race last time. The turf form here plays. He's not far out of this at all. And like you said, he's going to be a square price too. I think we both kind of agree. You see our top pick, our long shot play. This is the race to me to try to get a little chaotic in the early pick 5.
Exactly. So we're going to take a break. We'll see if I get a text from my Uncle Curly, and then we'll be back for the Rainbow Six, first of 2 stakes races, too.
Heroes mounted for glory. Arrogant, gun runner, city of light, mucho gusto, and Knicks go. Racing, the thunder and the lightning on the track, energy in the stands. 5
welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Brian. And nice Rainbow Six sequence today with a couple of stakes races in it. The first one is going to be the Sunshine Classic, 1 mile and an eighth. Florida Breds 4 and up, 75,000. Let's look at my Rainbow Six ticket, $57.60. Stuck it up today a little bit to $57.60. Not my normal $43.20. So, but I'm breaking one of my rules in here. I'm going to talk about this race. Shamrock, it has never been on the dirt before. It looks like the class of the race, so I had to use someone else. We'll talk about that race. I think the race number 7, Copacetic, is the one to beat, but I use Fastest Flight. Race number 8, I went 3 deep with proven strategies, Win from Within and Journeyman in there. And then in race number 9, I used the 5 Olympiad, and I also used Highest Honors and Cowboy Diplomacy when I added that horse with the scratch of Vindictive. And then in the Sunshine Sprint today, this was a head scratcher to me. I liked Legal Deal. I liked Pudding. I liked Cool Quest. I had it just at Gatsby. I think could win this race. It's wide open, and I really like a horse in the last race, and that's the 5 Skylander, who's my best bet today at a little bit of a price. But I also use Border War because it is a son of Warfront, and I hate to get beat by Warfronts on the grass.
Shug first. I need to gather myself here for a second. That 57.60 threw me off a little bit there. I like it. And it's a good segue to race 6 because it seems like we both might have the thought process here of trying to beat Shamrocket, right?
Yeah, you know, Shamrocket, you got to have somewhere on your ticket.
Absolutely.
He's going to try and capitalize. He's got just this unbelievable turf form, classy turf form, into a victory going 9 furlongs on the main track. Todd Pletcher, you know, he's solid 21% with the turf to dirt angle, but this horse has had 21 previous races and never been on the dirt.
I'm looking at your paper, and I'm agreeing with you 100%. Now, listen, this Pletcher guy's all right. He's in the Hall of Fame. This horse has never run on dirt in 21 starts. That says to me, I don't think he's much of a dirt horse, right? I mean, he's got a huge pedigree. He's bitonalist out of a Stormcat mare. He's certainly bred for it. I mean, maybe it just hasn't come up, or, you know, he's a very good turf horse. Why try it? He might still win. He might not handle the dirt and still win. I get all of it. He's going to be a tremendously short, underlaid price. I just think, you know, we both use him. I tried to beat him with Big Venezuela, who, if nothing else, is a dirt horse. He's proven routing. He'll be a much, much better price. Pete's got Shamrocket at 6 to 5. I agree wholeheartedly. He is going to be bet very, very hard. I want to see it. And so while I'm using him, I'm going to use someone else that's a better price.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I felt. I wasn't going to get beat by this horse, but this is, like I said, it's, you know, never bet a horse that hasn't done something in the past. One of the angles that you try and follow, but this horse is so much more class to me than anybody else in the field, albeit on the grass. So I use Glorious Florida, who's posted figures on the go back, really, that certainly indicate he can win here. The concern is handling the 9 furlong distance. The 6-year-old sharp second against those 60 overnight handicappers going a mile, 2 starts back. Needs to show more after finishing 4th in the 9 furlong, claiming Crown Jewel. If this horse can get the distance today, because it's not a oversubscribed field, maybe he can upset Shamrocket. So I used him, and I used Shamrocket. Here's the thing. You got to either toss Shamrocket and use everybody else in your Rainbow Six ticket, or who you like, or use them on your ticket and just go with the flow.
Yeah, and this thing could blow up right off the rip if he doesn't win, because like we said, he's going to be a very, very short number. If you can come up with Gloria Florida, if you come up with Big Venezuela, you get a huge leg up on the rest of the betting public.
You know, it's all Florida breds, and I think that might have been a good spot for the horse to get back to the races and talking about Shamrock. Let's go to race 7. This one is back on the Tapeta at about 1 mile and the 16th. Maiden special weight, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds, and upward, and we'll check out your late pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. 2, 3, 6 here, the 2 Chads and the Stidham Firster, who might be okay, and we'll talk about it. The spread is in race 8. 3 Proven Strategies is on top for Cassie and Edwin Gonzalez. We mentioned how good they are. Here's a single in the 9th, and that's Olympiad. He's a huge favorite now with Vindictive coming out. Race 10, we've got the 2 and the 7. I like Pudding a lot because we'll talk about it. There is so much speed in the Sunshine Sprint. I'm hoping it falls apart a little bit. And then in race 11, I mean, Principe Doro has to be some kind of runner, and I like Skylander as you do as well.
Yeah, I like Skylander in that spot. It's going to be interesting to see. Getting back to this race number 7, number 2 Copacetic, is debuting on the Tapeta. The first start start since returning from layoff. I'm going to show you this race, albeit I know it's on the turf, but I just thought it was a good performance. So we're going to rewind it and show you back. We're going to pick it up from the top of the stretch to the wire. Now you see Copacetic being the number 7 horse. And it was just a great performance by this horse at Keeneland. You know, he just comes running, and he was just so game in the stretch as he runs. He comes up, and I just thought it was a good performance. You know, when they say this translates the grass to Tapeta, I think he's going to run exceptionally well today. And like you said, he's going to be she is going to be, a low price today, lightly raced order of Curlin.
Yeah, I mean, Chad's got the 2 in here. Chad ran 1-2 on the Tapeta earlier in a maiden special weight, and it wouldn't shock me at all if he does it again here. Copacetic has got the recency edge on Black Sand, but, you know, Chad is so good at getting horses to run their best off a long layoff. It sounds wild to say, but I almost think it's a positive when his horses come back off extended breaks, because he always has them just absolutely on point to fire a big shot, and that's what I'm trying to get with Black Sand, who obviously spots recency to Copacetic, but I think Black Sand off that June layoff has only run 4 times. I like the form. I like the tactical speed. Luis Saez is here as well. That's the way I went.
The number 8 fastest flight who I have in second on my ticket is another given the all-weather surface world today after debuting locally and finishing second. Again, special weight runners going a mile on the turf for Brian Lynch. We got a stat with over the last 5 years with the turf maiden special weight in the money. This is turf. I don't know what this. Yeah, this is not on turf. I don't believe so. In the money, last out, maiden special weight on turf. That was someone. That is on Tapeta. So cancel that one. Acacia. So we'll go to the 7th race today. Hey, that happens, you know, what the heck. So we'll see how that one runs this afternoon. Well, let's go to race number 8, a mile in the 16th on the turf. This one is on the turf. Allowance optional claimer for 4-year-olds and up. Optional claiming price is $62,500. Scratch the number 2 horse in here. There'll be a jockey change on the number 8, and we both found proven strategies.
Well, I don't think it was that hard to find him, and you won't have to look too hard to find him either on the turf course, because he's going to be in front for as long as he can take him. Now, the turf course is good, so it's got a little bit of a give to it, but being in front on the turf is never a bad thing. It's Cassie, it's Edwin Gonzalez. I like the spacing as a first-time gelding with the ultimate equipment change here. 31% these two together. You get them together here at Gulfstream, and it's a huge look at the ROIs, well over $3. Lots to like from proven strategies.
You know, and I remember this English Channel in 2020 when this horse was second to Gufo, who turned out to be a really nice horse. So you just cruise down this horse's past performances. Sharp summer campaign, which he was second in the Grade 2 at Woodbine, set the pace second in the Red Bank at Monmouth. Just looks like a major player in here. What is he on the morning line? He's 3-1, I believe, on the morning line.
He's 3-1.
Yeah, and a big field, so it's right. Least it looks like a good spot. I went with the number 1, Win From Within in second, who's now in the Jeff Engler barn. Son of Into Mischief makes his first start. He stalked the pace in that race. He finished third. That was the Grade 2 American Turf at Churchill, albeit it was last May. Went in the Todd Pletcher barn, so going to Jeff's barn today. But this 4-year-old broke its maiden right here at this distance in January.
Yeah, the layoff is problematic, right? And the trainer switch to Jeff Engler does a good job. Don't get me wrong, but he's not one of the greatest trainers ever. So you wonder what you're going to get today. Maybe he needs one, but you're right, Ron. This horse has big turf form. He's a winner right here at Gulfstream, and he's now a 4-year-old son of Into Mischief. And in theory, he's a bigger, stronger, tougher version of the horse at 3. If he progresses, if he's ready to roll today, he can be a definite player in here, probably with a nice number too. Yeah.
Mike Maker's got Epsam with Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle today.
Yeah, I mean, he makes sense. And I'm going to try to get by that yielding race at Keeneland last time. And if you do, you look at his prior 2 and 3 back, there are big runs that fit with this group.
You know, I went with a horse that I like to call What Have You Done Lately angle, and I was talking about proven strategies, Win From Within coming off the bench. This one, debuts locally for Steve Caceres after hitting the board in 2 of 3 recent allowance optional claimers up on the New York turf circuit. The horse seems to be always around.
Yeah, Merkin Cantamarcy does a good job up in New York. Steve takes over here on this horse that does. Those are 3 big-time turf races last time. You could make a case they were against better, too, and he's going to fit nicely with this group. And like we talked about it earlier, Steve's horses are running down here.
They're running very, very well. Let's go to race number 9, a mile in the 16th. This is an allowance optional claimant for 4-year-olds and up. The optional claiming price, $62,000. And as Brian mentioned, and I did mention with the scratch of Vindictive in here, it sure looks like it's going to be Olympiad's race to lose.
I agree totally, and he might be, he is going to be a very, 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 very heavy favorite in here. We lose Vindictive, so 2-1, 33 points are out on that morning line, so he's going to be from 5-2 now. It wouldn't shock me if he's odds on, Ron. They like to bet this horse. I would think, Bill Mott is expecting this horse now at 4 to really grow into a serious racehorse this year. He's an exciting horse. The 4th in the Cigar Mile last time. It wasn't the greatest Cigar Mile, don't get me wrong, but that's a good effort for this horse. He was behind Baby Yoda, who ran that crazy, freakish number at Saratoga, I think a 114 that day. Lightly raced, a world of potential here, and I would think Olympiad now is one of those promising 3-year-olds that are now 4 that might grow up into a graded stakes kind of horse.
$700,000 on a Speightstown. Highest honors who we both have in second is making his 6-year-old debut, the first start since finishing 3rd. Against those $80,000 optional claimers going this distance at Churchill, albeit back in October. But with Chad Brown, as you mentioned a little early, is good with the horses coming off these type of layoffs. And he's got the horses, son of Tappan, firing bullets up at Payson Park, which if you don't know Payson Park, it's a deeper surface. So when the horses run up there and get legged up and they're firing bullets, that means they're ready to run.
Yeah, the worry here is the short finish line, and that really plays to Olympiad, and I think that's problematic to highest honors. It looks like Chad's got him going the right way. The race in the mud, 2 back at Saratoga, didn't work out, but now he's back. A very, very good race. Thomas Shelby's in raging form, so no disgrace running a good 3rd to him. You see how fast that race was. Highest honors, if Chad can keep this horse going, and you can see, he's a 6-year-old son of Tappan that's only run 8 times. I think if he can get some races under him, he's going to be a really, really good horse as well for Chad. Today, I think he's up against it a little bit with the trip.
I thought a horse that might improve this afternoon at a price, with the scratch of Vindictive, I don't know what the price will be, and that's Cowboy Diplomacy, who's a full brother to Monomoy Girl, who's stretching out after showing speed and fading. But I thought that was a good performance to get legged up going that 1-turn mile from Brendan Walsh, Javier Castellano. What I like about this horse, 2-time winner at the distance, if there's any upside, maybe not to win it, but to be on the try or be on the super, and I believe, big price in the morning line, with those heavy heads in here.
Yeah, and he's getting back to 2 turns today too, and I think that's a big deal too. Girolamo's Attack, and then certainly Fearless for Todd is a graded stakes horse. What about just quickly Capa Costello for Fausto Gutierrez? He's going to train a champion in Latrusca, much kind of like this horse. He's a Grade 1 winner in Panama. I have no idea what we're going to get today. He's 11 for 15 lifetime. It's exciting to see him here as well.
What I learned is Fausto is an excellent trainer. And just what he's done with Latrusca, who will be back, I think, coming back in the Rampart.
Love it. She's a 6, I think, soon to be 6 now, right? And she's, I hope she's a champion. I certainly voted for her. So
I voted for her. Oh, she was the lock for that. I think she's going to be, my estimation, she's going to be second for Horse of the Year behind Nick Sko. I think she's absolutely going to be second. We'll see how that plays out. Of course, all the picks of the, for that are in. We'll see how that plays out. Going to race number 10, it's our second stakes of the day, and this one is the Sunshine Sprint, 6 furlongs, Florida breds, 4 and up, $75,000. We'll start with number 2, Cutting Back. Going to sit the trip today was that rallying 3rd behind Legal Deal last time out.
Ron, there's so much speed in here, and I just think you look at all these horses. I know Lugamo came out, the 3, but you look at this race, and by the way, Paco gets on Boca Boy, the 6. There's just so much speed. Everybody wants to get involved early. Pudding is the one horse that has shown an affinity and ability to settle a little bit, sit off the speed, excuse me, and I just think, I'm hoping it falls apart late because so many of them want to go. Your top pick does well to draw outside the speed.
Yeah, we're going to show you this horse. First, I want to show you the start, just to show you how sharply this horse is the number 11. We're talking about Legal Deal. Just how sharply this horse breaks in this race. And we're just going to follow it a little bit up. But boy, this one, boom, she was right out there, and he was right out there and just started to go. I thought it was a good race. And then we're going to pick it up at the 3/16 home after. Just show you the stretch run. And who's next to it, 6 to 5 miles ahead, as we know, is a real good horse. And this is a great race right down to the wire, of course, miles ahead. The 6 to 5 favorite in that race. And there you see the number 11 Legal Deal, trying to hold on, would not give it up. So I just thought it was a good performance. Going to break from, as you said, the outside, a much better outside, 7 than 11 last time out.
Yeah, and you saw him beating Pudding by 2 lengths as well. So I like the post. And Edwin Gonzalez is going to have to thread the needle a little bit here because, as you mentioned, this horse breaks so sharply. Maybe if he catches a flyer and clears, that's one thing, but you would think from the outside it gives him the right spot to be looking over to the inside and do the dictating as opposed to being dictated to. I like the post. I just worry, can he last?
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Now, that horse, of course, trained by Carlos David, who also has the number 5 Gatsby in here. And this one has been knocking on the door against this caliber competition in 4 consecutive races. This horse is always there. Luis Saez in the saddle.
I mean, he ran huge last time. Drain the Clock, a Grade 1 winner for Safi, comes back. They stopped the teletimer in 8-3 that day. I mean, just a crazy fast race. My worry is, A, there's so much other speed. B, does he regress? I mean, that had to be a taxing effort. They just threw it down every step of the way.
The number 1, Cool Quest, we have similar super effector up there, stretching out after debuting locally for Brian Lynch and using his speed to defeat those state-bred optional claimers. Is this the one that's going to look Legal Deal in the eye today? That might be the reason, going to set up perfectly for Pudding.
Yeah, I think he's got to go from the inside, right? And he got with his friends last time, Florida Breds, and he looked really, really good winning. Boy, he's going to have to run hard every step of the way in here from the rail.
Well, we're going to end the day with a turf race, 1 mile maiden special weight 3-year-olds. And as I mentioned, my best bet in here is the 5 Skylander is going to get Lasix after a well-meant local debut in which he rallied strongly through the lane to finish second. We're going to just show you this performance here. Just going to pick it up at the top of the lane home. So you're going to see number 4 Skylander, one of those races where, well, we've got to make the decision now. So they got to tip out 6 wide here, 5 or 6 wide to come close. And you're going to see this number 4 just flying through the stretch, really gobbling up the turf course. So we'll see how this horse runs this afternoon for Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado in the saddle. This horse almost made it after having to tip out, like I said, stuck behind that wall of horses.
Yeah, that was a huge run. It's against the profile of the course, and he ran huge. It was his first true 2-turn race as well. As you mentioned, Lasix goes on today, excuse me. The typical Bill Mott progression. It's a Godolphin homebred, and I agree with you totally, Ron. If the firsters in here can't run or aren't ready to run, he's going to take some beating.
And there's no stronger closer than Luis Saez in my estimation. So I don't think this horse will be as far back as it was last time. You went to the inside horse in here. A horse I led a little further down on my ticket, Principe de Oro.
Judd Mott and Winchell Thoroughbreds teaming up to own a horse here. $650,000 son of Medaglia d'Oro with Todd Pletcher. The Dam, Dame Dorothy, 7 for 12. Now, she was a Grade 1 winner sprinting on dirt, so it's a little odd. This is the second full out of the Dams, a half to Spice is Nice, who won the Grade 3 DuPont up in Maryland. Your guy Bobby Flay, bred this horse, excuse me. There's a lot to like. Todd's 10% debuting at a mile or longer, 12% debuting first turf. This horse has got to be a big-time runner, though, I would think, Ron. Maybe it's not today, but I think we're going to hear from Principe d'Oro at some point.
Yeah, so we'll see how that horse runs this afternoon. You got, like I said, you got a great jock in Luis Saez in here. I love war fronts on the turf. Everybody that follows my analysis knows this. So Border War is the son of Warfront, debuting for Shug McGay with Lasix, and a solid work tab showing Javier Castellano guides this Joe Allen homebred. And, Shug, I like on many trainers, he doesn't really crank them up, but if they're ready, he can win first out.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing. I mean, he's 15% first out. You got 2 Hall of Famers here teaming up, and 2 Hall of Famers have done some good work down here at the championship meet already.
Yeah, one other horse I wanted to mention before we end this analysis is the 3 Dream of a Day, second on the turf, back at Belmont, going back to the grass, finished second, was beaten only a nose going a mile 70 yards. Barkley tag hasn't started many horses. All his horses have run well. Had one didn't run that well yesterday when the race was moved from the turf to the Peter, but every horse has been right there. Julian Leparoux in the saddle.
Lasix goes on as well, and a nice ground-saving post. And you're right, Barkley, everything is just super live. He's going to have a live runner in the Pegasus World Cup turf in a couple weeks from today as well.
Yeah, so we'll see how that final race of the day. Great to be back on the turf, but we're not done yet. We're going to run through our lightning round, and a big day for me too. I hope at least, because it's Beat the Expert Day, and I am in the hot seat. So if you can play with us, it's absolutely free. Just go to Gulfstream Park web and hit on the page. Get you right to the contest page and pick more winners than me, and you got a chance to get a cool polo shirt.
I wish everybody out there the best of luck, because you have set the bar quite high recently.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. But usually when it's Beat the Expert Day, it's tough for you. We got our sister track mandatory payout today in the Rainbow Six. Going to be interesting how much money is bet into that pool.
I think they're kind of forecasting about $4 million. So get involved. That's a huge pool, base 20-cent bet, so you can have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, and that'll be a little later on this afternoon, so make sure in this I think it's Cal Day there, so
yeah.
It's California Bread Day, so it should be a great time to maybe take down one of those fantastic Rainbow Sixes. Only, as Brian said, a 20-cent wager. The Stronach 5 returned yesterday, and I gotta go ahead. The guys there, we hit it yesterday with Gulfstream Park with my selections, of course, and Santa Anita, just did a great job. Matt Dinnerman at Golden Gate Fields, so we actually hit it $4,218. That is unbelievable. Overlay City is exactly what it is.
You, Frank, and Matt, right?
Yeah,
Miramonte out there.
Miramonte too, yeah.
$82 ticket, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
That's pretty heady stuff. And there you see your long shot wrapping it up. Dollar-based wager, 15% takeout. It's a pretty solid bet.
Yeah, it's always pays fantastically. Got a couple of horses that are getting ready for the Pegasus World Cup and the Pegasus World Cup Turf, and one of those is Sir Winston. So Sir Winston getting back, and here you see him. Sir Winston winning the 2019 Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, and Mark Cassie's just done such a good job for this horse Tracy Farmer owned, and 2019 winning at 1.5 miles in an upset, and he just kind of keeps on keeping on. He's been up at Woodbine running well on their synthetic up there, and now we'll see him front and center on the 29th. And I'll tell you what, you just saw his win there, and you can kind of get his running style, and I don't know, man, something might have to give between Life is Go and Nick's Go. Life is Good and Nick's Go up front with heavy speed in the Pegasus.
Another horse stretching his legs yesterday, getting ready for the turf, is Channel Cat.
Yeah, I think you're going to meet Channel Cat next week,
Yeah.
right? Is that the word on the street for Jack Sisterson?
The rumor is out I'm going to be his groom sometime next week, Channel Cat. This should be quite a sight. But it looks good, working very well, and I really like this horse, so the horses run well. I remember his win in the Man of War back in May, I think it was, just got up by a nose. Looks like he's raring to go in that work. She's got a foot in the dashboard.
Channel Cat's a cool horse. He's that hard-knocking turf, horse that's been around forever. Jack's done such a good job keeping his form. Grade 1 winner, and we'll get to see him on the 29th.
Yeah.
You'll get to see him Wednesday or Thursday.
You'll see how that plays. That should be a lot of fun, and it's just part of all the pomp and circumstance that we have here during Pegasus Week and before, and of course on Pegasus Day. So make sure you join us. We're going to be back a little while. Of course, Acacia Courtney will be with us throughout the afternoon, and Brian and I'll see how many winners we can get together.
Pegasus, the divine winged horse that flew with heroes mounted for glory. Here begins our story of legendary times, the rarefied air when the stakes are high. Like the moment when you feel the vibe, the thunder and the lightning on the track, the energy in the stands, like music moving through your soul, shaking your hips, making you dance. The stars come out in the magic city. For Pegasus they stay, dressed in designers' newest finds, wishing all days could be like this. A moment in the sun, where everything is divine. Racing, vibe, fashion, entertainment. Arrogant, gun runner, city of light, mucho gusto, and Nick's Go. Pharrell Williams at the finish line. Lenny Kravitz rocks the runway. Snoop Dogg making it rain. A Jennifer Lopez family affair. Vin Diesel found out that cars aren't the only thing that are fast and furious. This runway on the rails.